Welcome back, everybody. After a couple of days with no tournament casts here on my channel, we'll return to the Pick Your Poison tournament organized by Komi, Daniela, and their team. Huge thanks to them. And today we're getting the first finals match on this channel here, which is going to be final in bracket H between these two players here, SilverPython and Yaxia, both of which we've already casted, of course, in the previous rounds on this channel here. And today you'll notice the difference. We actually got a best of 5 between these two guys, so that's exciting. The finals being best of 5 adds another dimension to this. No maps being banned. You really need to be able to play everything here. Game 1 going to be on Arabia, and then we'll go from there, depending on whose home maps we'll end up actually needing, but we'll see. So far it looks like it's going to be Ethiopians against Byzantines on Arabia in game 1 here. And let's find out then whether we have such a game among our replays. Looking good. Okay, so let's hop right in there, shall we? Game 1 in the finals for bracket H between SilverPython and Yaxia. Great to be back and finish off this tournament with hopefully a great match in bracket H. Of course, I'll be looking to cast more semifinals or finals in case the WODs get uploaded. But for now, let's enjoy this one here. And we have Arabia as our first map, so quite familiar to most of you who are probably also watching King of the Desert, which is still ongoing as we speak right now. So if you're watching this stream live, might also consider checking out that King of the Desert tournament streamed on Mem's channel and many other ones. The last deciding matchup for who moves into the round of 16 is currently going on there. But for this one here, enough advertisement for other people. We have SilverPython on the Byzantines. Let's check out their civ first. It is not a spectacular civilization in many aspects, but of course quite good at many things actually. And we see right there one of the more well-known bonuses, extra building HP as the game progresses. Those buildings get even tankier than they usually do. Couple that with cheap trash units, so skirms, pikemen, but also camel riders, so cheaper camels as well for the Byzantines. Why not? Why not get everything cheaper, right? That's the dream, really. Some coupon collectors over there in the Eastern Roman Empire, apparently. Naval bonus is not going to be impactful on this map, of course, but cheaper advance cost to Imperial Age should be quite cool. And not going to complain about that for sure either. On the other side, though, we have the Ethiopians. Let's figure out what they are up to. They're also scouting around. And what do they have? Well, they have faster firing archers. That is one thing. So just more DPS out of the archers. Go-to unit for them, of course. So we'll see if that is actually what Yaxia will end up doing here in this first game. But of course, there's also other stuff. Free pikeman upgrade is really good against civs that are looking to pressure you in Castle Age with cavalry, but not sure that's going to be the case for SilverPython here. Either way, a nice quality of life thing to have there. And well, what I think is really good about the Ethiopians is the April patch introduction of no stone cost on their outposts. That is, of course, their team bonus now. Extra line of sight and no stone cost for those outposts. So you're really able to get map control, or at least vision, all across the map very early on in the game without needing to spend stone of that, which is, of course, oftentimes what scares people away from actually putting down outposts, at least early on. So really good team bonus to have, in my opinion. Quite underrated. Well, I'm not sure how it's actually being rated, but it can't possibly be rated high enough. Pretty far apart, both these players. And how do the maps look? Well, pretty good here for the Ethiopians. Everything is kind of to the back or to the side. Elevations could be a bit tricky in some points, but overall, don't think they're going to complain. Very much open at the front though, and that is point of attack here potentially for the Byzantines, who themselves, well, have their stuff to the front and to the sides, not so much in the back line where they're currently chopping wood, but also quite the open map. So should be very, very possible for both these players to get on to each other if they truly wish to do that. Oops, as I'm struggling a bit here. Yeah, there we go, all good. So, what do we have? We've got a 20 pop up for SilverPython here in a second, I would imagine, although I'm not sure how the food count is currently working out for them. Ethiopians actually already on the way to feudal age, but with one less villager here. Loom already picked up and researched, so one will ahead to the next age is Yaxia, SilverPython following not far after. The idle times comparable for both players, and we have some scout battles in the middle apparently. Looks like SilverPython was able to get the first hit there, and oh, he's currently owning Yaxia, who will get that feudal age to come in sooner, so might win out in the long run here. Thus maybe good choice for SilverPython to actually avoid this one and not escalate the situation further. Both players with some on gold, 2 against 3 on gold, interesting. So if you want to go heavy archers in feudal age, especially if you have Loom researched, you really need 3 on gold. So that might tell us something already. The conservative, careful walling here on the gold, I like that a lot. Pretty good choice. Should definitely learn from that. Just put down those walls when you have time. No need to make it a close call if really you have nothing else to do. But with both players now in the feudal age, let's see what they actually opt for. We do get the range for SilverPython. We get one as well for the Ethiopians. It looks like they are really on comparable paces here. Maybe a tad faster is Yaxia, who is trying to harass, steal a bit of the enemy's attention away here at the woodline, and the berries, which are momentarily going to have to be abandoned by Yaxia, but nothing serious so far. This is pretty liberal walling here, I gotta say though. Taking his sweet time there, and maybe knowing that the opponent goes into archer there by spotting the 3 villages on gold. If you know the opponent sending archers, you need to wall, of course, a bit further away from your own resources, otherwise the archers will just hit through there. This could be troublesome though. Need to send a second villager here just to make sure, and out comes the first kind of military for Yaxia. Going forward with a spear here in Tau, actually interesting choice. Good to see you in chat, SilverPython. Already announcing this game will be a banger, so that is cool. And also saying that he'll be back, so always nice to hang out with these players while I'm watching their games. And these skirmishes are starting to kick off here. Quite messy actually. We've got skirmisher archer against spearman and archer, and that's really not a fight that Yaxia wants to take, thus backing off wisely, making more of those archers. Of course, with 3 on gold, oh yeah, that's going to be way more on gold even. Even dropping the tower here, very preemptive tower. Well, I wonder why he feels like he's... I'm not sure I like this tower. The only rationale here, I think... Only rationale would be I'm trying to pressure the opponent as hard as possible. I don't want to worry... I don't want to have to worry about defending, so I just drop the tower on my gold. But he's keeping his army at home and dropping a tower. When he was the first up to the next stage, he should have more military out, frankly. And thus I don't quite understand his full shift on the defense here. Completely letting off the pressure here on offense, and allows for these, well, quite awkward but probably effective walls here to come out for SilverPython without much pressure. So I'm not sure I like this opening here to the feudal age by Yaxia, and That being said, gets the scout kill here. That is certainly going to be nice. Has more and more archers on the field now, so he's really just going into archers. No skirmishes at all. Struggling really with his food income, we can see. The idle TC times for both players now creeping up a little bit. Remember, these aren't high elo players, but certainly no slouches either. Around the 1300 mark, so, well, certainly better than me. Maybe not as good as Daniela, for example, but somewhere in between there. And we'll see how they do. Fletching coming in now for Yaxia, probably with that bigger number of archers and fletching in as well. Feeling a bit more comfortable moving out. Having the extra scout here as a response to the enemy skirmishers. Good micro, could go a long way here. This is certainly a winnable fight for the Ethiopians if they're able to get good damage done on these enemy skirmishers. But the archers are making that very difficult. I like the way that SilverPython is using the skirmishers as a meat shield. Really zoning. This is real nice zoning, man. This is really good. This is like if you're playing League of Legends and you want to always have your tanks in front of the backline carries who do the damage from range. This is exactly what you want to see. And he's able to push this attempt back as well. Although Yaxia hasn't really lost a lot here. I think it was like one archer and the one scout that went down. But nicely defended by Python. And really didn't have to invest a lot into this. Goes for fletching. Interesting. I'm not even quite sure if he really needs fletching. But probably a good idea. If he expects more scouts to come, he really needs that fletching. In that case, so probably why he might end up grabbing it here. I would like to see more skirmishes from him though. I think he needs more of that beefy front line here to make this one work. And yeah, he's gonna get more. So I really like his choices so far. Can't lie. That scout has snuck into his backline, but not gonna do much there. On offense though, he's still struggling a bit against these enemy scouts. His skirmishers having some trouble there. But the archers aren't really able to do any damage right now. Idle time really concerning at this point by Yaxia. Man, he's really committing to scouts, and in the process he's idling his town center. So villager production halted there. A little bit of archer harassment here. That's decent value, but I think he's only hitting Lumbercamp at this point. Going to have to micro a bit there, but Python just sends a few skirmishers over. Remember, he's playing as the Byzantines. These skirmishers are cheap and can really just add in another one or two basically for free there, just as a result of that bonus. So really good to have. Trades here not going that great actually though. Lost that skirmisher and going to have to macro down that scout. Good movement though. He's avoiding a lot of damage and he's trading really well here. Oh god, yeah. He's getting great trade here once again. SilverPython, he's taken everything in these early engagements so far. KD 14 to 11 in total. And again, it's a lot of damage on this scout. And Yaxia has invested so much into military and has gotten relatively little in return. He's got 800 wood floating there, just for fun, I guess. Put down some farms, my man. He's now gonna get the market and try to buy his way up to Castle Age. This is really an eco in shambles. Whereas SilverPython, wow, he's really managed that eco super well. I'm not sure if he's used the market though to balance it, because it really looks just a little bit too well balanced. But able to even keep the scout out. Okay, not that that mattered really, because that scout is a one-shot. But quick wars came in. It's a bit of a moral victory. Okay, so far SilverPython looking quite a bit better, I have to say. Less idle time, actually half the idle time. Way more efficient trades here with the military and way better balanced eco. So he's going to like his spot that he's in probably. Now we'll see how this matchup goes as we approach Castle Age. Bit over a minute separating these two guys from getting up to the next age there. Still being annoying with the skirmishes there is SilverPython. And the walls are starting to be enlarged here, spread out by Yaxia, who probably expects this to be closed off in the south. Oh, I hope this won't come to bite him later. I hope he scouts this at some point. We don't see any outposts yet from him. Remember, no stone on the Ethiopian outposts allows you to drop those quite early on. Doesn't feel like he needs them just yet, perhaps. And again, the Spearman getting a free poke in there. Good value again for SilverPython, who's facing this Archer number here, but looking like not a lot of damage here to be done for the time being. Now, what's the Byzantines' plan going forward? Looks like a second town center is the idea right now. Can't really support a third one just yet. Goes into elite skirmisher and crossbowman, so he's going to commit down the ranged unit line here. Interesting. Bow as well, nice and early there, no complaints. And cavalry seems to be the answer for Yaxia. I mean, that does sound plausible, right? If you haven't really seen the opponent make anything but ranged units, cavalry could be a decent choice in that case. Crossbowman and elite skirmisher upgrades are already in those, so this is a very relevant power spike here for the Byzantines that Yaxia might struggle against a little bit. Knights going to be exactly what the doctor ordered against this army composition though. However, he needs a bit more than just the 1 or 2 that he's gonna get out right now. And wow, SilverPython, as though he knew it, sends out an extra few spearmen here to the front. Yaxia really in trouble. His food economy has not been salvaged yet whatsoever. Hasn't put down more farms either. And no second town center yet, of course, since that tower cost him quite a lot of stone. Currently walled away from his stone as well. So this is a really rough spot to be in for Yaxia. Trying to trade a bit now with the crossbowmen. Going to get the spearmen for free. So this is really good news for them. Now makes those knights a lot more valuable, although he only has one of them so far. Might be better off adding a few more knights then to try and take out these skirmishers. Crossbowmen. Meanwhile, the third town center coming in on the home front for Silver. Gotta be careful though against the knights. Again, I think he's might even get cleaned up here if the micro is decent by Yaxia. And looks like this little army here might have shot its last few bolts. And at the same time, Yaxia actually trying to push a bit at the front, but that's again nice little group already out for SilverPython. Most of these units are discounted as well, remember. He's got coupons for everything, this guy. And that's gonna make it very difficult to find any success here. That's 3 crossbowmen to the damn hell, as we like to say. That's gonna be difficult. I mean, you know, we've said this before. Archers is the go-to unit, of course. AI army here for SilverPython against the Ethiopian archer only for Yaxia. And that's gonna make it a bit difficult. You're having only crossbowmen against quite a few skirmishers. At least the pikemen are gonna struggle though, and thus if he adds a few more knights, he's gonna fare really well here. I would have liked to see a bit of a bigger emphasis on those. But he's really starting to mass those crossbowmen now. Eco just barely holding up. He's on 1 TC, still only 8 on food. 11 now, okay. And he's trying to hold on. These few guys, I guess, the survivors. Alright, we still get more of the same for SilverPython. He's keeping on producing army here, all sorts of army as well. Let's see how he's going to be able to deal with this one. I would like to see a siege workshop, honestly, from them. If the opponent goes this heavily into crossbowmen, siege workshop might be a decent idea. Although, if you're just gonna make more skirmishers as the Byzantines, I guess that is justifiable. I guess, yeah. I guess. I tend to go like monks and siege maybe against this stuff, but not maybe when you play again as the Byzantines. So yeah, no siege workshop yet for him. He's actually pushing out here. He's got to be careful about those knights. They're going to clean up his entire army. He actually has done a great job pulling out the opponent out of his base, where there's no pikemen. Even takes the hill here, so that's going to be a great trade for the Ethiopians, albeit a few of those gold units going down here. Fair enough. That's the cost of this, but it was a really good trade nonetheless. And exactly what he needed. Down 20 eco units on that 1 TC. After all, gonna need to find advantages somewhere. And again, now the numbers are really down for SilverPython. He can't be taking these fights anymore. Streaming these units in here one after the other. That's not gonna be productive. Although these skirmishers there, as long as they don't get hit, they do well. Well, they are starting to get hit though. Oh, well, let's hope this doesn't go bad. As the crossbow mouse here in the north is really starting to give Python some troubles. And now all these skirmishers are dead. There's the siege workshop. Okay, maybe I overlooked this earlier. Maybe it just went up as well. Hydradamus, he says, as the Mangonel comes in. It's not quite a race car onager, although I love the emote. I actually have gotten a better version of this, which is going to be available soon as a follower emote here. Finally, the artist's commission was completed, so yay us. Professional emotes on this channel soon. Point being though, we love to see some Mangonel play here. I think there's much more cost-effective way of going about this. Don't really need the skirmisher mass in that case. It was worrisome, but the crossbowmen also might just start breaking in here. That's tons of archers for Yaxia. Let's see if he can micro it against those Mangonels though. They're starting to get close, but he knows what's up. Apparently. No shot actually going off there, but in the south, oh dang. Okay, this palisade here did its job, tanked up all the aggro, allowed for some nice return shots there on the Mangonel. Actually, it leads the palisade. I don't like this. This is what I sometimes tend to do as well, out of frustration, because I feel like I need to do something against these crossbows. You can't even chase them down. As long as you don't have that race car, as long as you don't have drill coming in, you can't just chase down crossbowmen, sadly. So I don't think this is a good idea. If anything, you're just gonna get ran down by enemy cavalry. So this is... I know it's tempting. It's frustrating to just sit at home and do nothing. But, yeah. We see right there. That's exactly what I was scared of. Knights coming in, cleaning up the Mangonel. And that was not good use of that investment. Has two more though, and he's trying to get a good fight here on offense. But same story again. The two knights are just terrorizing the Mangonels. And they're probably going to go down. Why are we running away? The skirmishers don't do damage to these knights. We just take both Mangonels here. If I'm Yaxia, I'm suiciding for those Mangonels. Good job. Now delete the knights. Oh, he gets the monk too. Okay, he was greedy and he got rewarded. Jesus. Alright, that is a big investment here. Gone south for Python. At least he's getting up to imp there with the cheaper imp cost, remember? Byzantine's bonus is coming into play nicely here. But that's what I was worried about, man. Mangonel defense is great and all, but you gotta have an answer for those knights as well, and it wasn't in time. Quite difficult here. SilverPython starting to run out of space. Got great start to this game and still has a nice and actually a pretty massive eco lead here. 30 extra villages. He's starting to run out of space and out of mineable resources as well. Good news, he's the Byzantines. The mineable ones might not be that essential. Struggling against Siege himself now though. Maybe might need here a second Siege workshop and just start spamming out those Mangonels to trade against both enemy Siege and crossbowmen. He's gonna be up to imp soon though. Oh, I think he might get a good shot here. Is he able to actually arrange that? He tried to right click it. It didn't go so well. Nice. Okay, he got this one off. Second TC finally about to come in for Yaxia. As the Mangonel is on its way out. Oh, got sniped though. Nicely done by the Ethiopians. And as long as they're trading evenly here, that's a win in my books for them. Alright, they're starting to push it in here. Well, actually, even trades. No, that was not. Oh, shit! These guys. Oh, boy. What's this? Oh, all these skirmishers. Oh, it's an ocean of dead skirmishers here. Covering the farms. Knights, now the answer for SilverPython. Not sure how well this is gonna go. You don't have that much gold. That was the last of his gold that he just mined. Or I think actually might have some on the back or somewhere. Well, that was tough, and now he's really getting pushed here in the front. Still up 30 eco, but he's starting to lose ground now. In go the knights. Now no monks yet for the Ethiopians, so knights are quite scary, but with this amount of crossbowmen, man, the Knights just aren't able to get onto the siege there. Look at the damage he's taken. Ballistics in already. These Knights getting shredded here. One after the other. It looks like Python really is running out of answers here. He's still the Byzantines. He still has a lot of town centers up, but this army from Yaxia are really giving him trouble. And he's really starting to run into trouble here. Maybe a second or a third mining camp up here would be a good choice for him. Good shot though with the crossbow, or with the mangonel himself. Gets another one out. Oh, that was massive value out of that one mangonel. Takes out 1.5 enemy mangonels and a few crossbowmen to boot. Still, that's gonna be difficult to hold though. He's got Cavalier now, apparently. But not a lot of upgrades there. No attack upgrades, especially. Oh, and these Cavalier, they go down fast. This is not a good trade for him. The monk going forward here, I don't know what he was looking for. Oh, this is a rough look for SilverPython here. He's not been pushed that far yet, and he still has really good villager numbers. Yaxia on the way up to Imp now as well. I'm not sure I like this. I think he could have committed way harder here. Or he could still commit way harder in Castle Age. I'm not sure Imp does him that great a favor, even. I think all he needs is numbers, a little bit more siege, and he can push this, I feel. Let's see if that Imp is going to be good, though. He's going forward with a lot of villagers, but he doesn't have any stone. Why do we bring all these villagers? I was expecting a forward castle drop here, naturally, on his way to Imp, but he doesn't have the stone for that. I guess he's gonna just mine gold for the moment. Alright. And it's gonna be a castle for Python, actually, who's looking to secure the front side of his base that got broken up very recently. The Cavalier is still coming in and just killing it. And 1 or 2 villagers and crossbowmen every time. These trades not as efficient as the ones Python took earlier in this game, I can tell you all that much. Trying to avoid this gold mining colony from netting too much benefit. Oh, this is juicy. Please. Please give me more. Another one. Please. Oh! Yeah. Yes. Oh, God, this is beautiful. This is really some mangonel adult entertainment here that we're looking at. He's getting great shots off there, able to actually push the opponent off the gold, and starting to take the map back now with all his Cavaliers. Let's see if he's able to get something off of that. He's fully stabilized at home. And now we're at this point where Yaxia is just up to him. Has lost a lot of units. Has no pressure on the opponent anymore. And is down in eco. So what are we doing with our imp now? Oh, God. Oh, he's losing a ton here, isn't he? He's got more crossbowmen coming in, but this castle is super ballsy here. Trying to go forward is Python. Okay, he's not going to drop it that far forward. Maybe on this hill, exactly, yeah. That's what we like to see. Loses the Cavalier there, so he's going to need to bring some army to back this castle up. Brings the mangonel forward, most importantly. Alright, and he's going to try and reclaim map control here. Up 50 eco units. Oh, that was painful for Yaxia. He's even going to start losing stuff at home. Must have lost a few villages there as well. And that's it. Oh, he's still open there. We said it at the beginning of the game. We said it earlier. Needed to make sure this was closed off. Didn't, though. And is now paying the price for it. The walling villager is going to die as well. Oh, it's starting to fall apart for the Ethiopians here. They're really committing to this Castle Age push until they weren't, and that's when it turned south for them. Got the outposts going now, but not really where you'd need them, I think. Trying to still go for this forward castle, but this is kind of pathetic forward castle attempt, isn't it? These 3 guys probably not going to go. They're not going to get all that far trying to put up this castle. Cavalier now annoying them. Let's bring in a few more villagers, okay, and with the protection of these crossbowmen, maybe he's gonna get that castle up, but even if, I feel like he's not really causing any direct damage with this castle. So Python probably still really happy with the way this game has developed. He's getting trebuchets out now, he's getting Cavalier into the enemy's eco, and it feels like he's taken the game with this. Right, he's not really lost stuff with his castle in the bottom. Crossbowman into his eco could be annoying, but with enough Cavalier there, should probably be able to push this back quite soon. 120 villagers. He's got double the eco numbers. He should have this in the back, certainly, right? I mean, the opponent can't even mine any resources at this point. Is on 1 TC again. I don't think there's coming back from this for Yaxia. The score looking deceptively close, actually, but I mean, it's not looking. This is not looking very promising for the Ethiopians, who are getting some decent raiding done in the back now. Taking care of those Cavalier and Python, maybe under raiding this danger level a little bit. Nonetheless, should be fine with that, I assume, although he's gotten cleaned up at the opponent's base now as well. So it hasn't gone ideal here in the last couple of minutes. I'm gonna lose 10 or 15 or whatever villagers over here. That's 50 unit kills on these 16 crossbowmen. These guys, man, they have half. They have half of a third of Combi's unit kills on this entire game. Finds a decent spot and is going to trade very well against these Cavalier. It's going to end up losing his crossbowman finally, but okay, he's gotten some great value there. At least eco numbers still looking terrible though, and the main point still being he's lost all the map control and doesn't have any access to resources outside of his base anymore, and isn't even on gold currently. So I struggle to see how he's gonna keep that up. Finally gets the Obelisk upgrade to come in. Gonna lose this castle though. He doesn't have infinite amounts of stone to repair this with. I don't see this going too well for the Ethiopians here. Oops. Remember, this is a best of 5. It still says best of 3 here at the top. I'm going to adjust that momentarily, probably after this game ends. But this is a best of 5, and this first map is looking to go to the favorite number 2 seed, SilverPython here. Well, it's looking bad for Yaxia. He's lost that castle. I don't think he's going to hang on much longer here. Trying to get back on gold, but no projection for that whatsoever. Don't think that's going to hold up for too long. While Python is able to set up his economy freely at this point. Has everything he needs. Even goes for Paladin here. Okay, the Byzantine Paladin. It's getting serious now. Still no forging though, with 1500 food in the bank. I mean, interesting priorities there, but Blacksmith probably... Maybe Blacksmith got destroyed earlier during the push and he couldn't be bothered to put it up again. Who knows what happened there. The few obelisks here, the last gold units that he actually has for a while. Although he's back on gold, so fair enough. At least he's going to be able to make some units again. He's just so vulnerable though. He's really not controlling anything right now. Is there actually no blacksmith for Python? That would be hilarious if that was the reason. It did get destroyed actually. He confirms it in chat. Oh, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. That's exactly what it looked like too with the neglect for blacksmith upgrades. Paladin go in, not the greatest trade here. That's not quite efficient. Fighting uphill against these arbaleists. Still killing them. But at this point I guess it doesn't really matter. You're not too concerned with taking efficient trades. You're mainly concerned with just killing enemy units. And there we go. Yaxia ends up calling it here. Well, we are in a best of 5, so yeah, I adjust that here real quick. First game goes to SilverPython, the number 2 seed here. About 40 elo above his opponent. And looking really solid here. I broke it down in the early game, so I'm not going to go over it again. But I thought in Feudal Age, SilverPython played this very, quite better. And got a huge advantage there. Probably prompting Yaxia to go for this Castle Age all-in. That didn't quite end up having the oomph needed to win the game. And thus the first map goes to SilverPython. So we're gonna go to a home map of Yaxia's next. Islands of Golden Swamp. Let's see if we have any of that here in the WOD section. Looks like we do. We're gonna get a Golden Swamp game here as game number 2 apparently. But I'm asked what I think of the draft, so I'll I'll talk about that first, perhaps. So, well, of course, people like to pick civs that are good on all the tournament maps. Especially in these finals here, you have to play all 5 maps. So you really can't pick 5 civs that are great on every map. That's for sure. But that's the general idea of what people are opting for. So you want civs that are good on Arabia, Arena, but also on water maps. So that's kind of the challenge here. Thus, civs like Byzantines, Italians, Malay, Persians, that stuff we've seen a ton of. Franks in there is interesting. I like to see it. I haven't actually seen them played very much at all in this tournament yet. Probably got banned a lot as well. I remember they did in my games. In general, though, I have to say, like, the SilverPython got a lot of good civs there that are traditionally considered good in this tournament meta. Alright. So, what does Yaxia have, though? Magyars, we've seen them a lot. Hindustanis, who I haven't really seen. And Ethiopians, we just saw, of course, as well. Well, the Hindustanis are kind of, and Franks are kind of ones that we haven't seen a ton. So yeah, we will see the Franks soon, indeed, because we're looking at game 2 on Golden Swamp here. Let's jump into that then. And we see the Franks there against the Sicilians. Home map for Combi Yaxia, who really needs a victory here to equalize the series. You never want to go down 0-2 in a best of 5. Luckily, although, we have the extra game here in the finals, so it's not all over if you lose 2 games just yet. You really don't ideally want to have that happen, though. So still a big stakes game for the underdog, who's playing as the Franks here. So as mentioned before, we haven't really seen a lot of them in the tournament. Let's see what they have to offer. And it's quite a bit. You get the berry gathering bonus, oftentimes used to get a nice feudal age time going. You get extra HP on your cavalry in feudal age, oftentimes used to get a good scout rush going alongside your good feudal age time. And you get free mill technologies. Oh, well, I mean, that's just great, because those technologies really are a pain to pick up early. The earlier you pick them up, the more value you get out of them, but they're quite expensive, and those resources you oftentimes don't have to spare early in feudal or castle age. So getting them for free actually is a lot of value, although people don't usually get them very early. Kind of like Handcart and the Viking Seeker bonus, right? Handcart and Wheelbarrow. Also really good techs that you don't typically get that early, but if you get them for free, they are pretty massive. Cheaper castles too for the Franks, and the Axeman, one of the coolest units in the game that sadly we barely ever see get built. Well, on the other side it's the Sicilians. We've seen them tons of times on this map as well. I think they're pretty cool on this map. You can do your donjon fuckery very effectively here, where there's the resources are very clamped together here, and all kind of in the back and on the sides. If you get dungeons there on the enemy resources, you really are able to threaten 2 or 3 piles of resources at once with every one of these dungeons, if you're able to get them going. You don't necessarily have to go for that, but it is a very powerful option. I think in Chupterberger's set in the quarterfinals, I believe we saw a pretty good demonstration of that, if I'm not mistaken. So they can be quite annoying in that regard. But also they've got a few other decent bonuses. Although the transport ship bonus might not be the most impactful here. Generally, yeah, just a little bit here and there. I don't think they've got this one marquee bonus that is super great. They've got extra armor on knights, which is super good. They've got a little bit better farms. That's just a little bit, right? Nothing massive there. And you can see right there, stuff like 33% less bonus damage and stuff. Those can come in handy situationally, but it's nothing to really base a strategy around. So, yeah, that's the Sicilians for us right there. And let's now see what these guys are actually going for. Idle TC time's looking fine so far. We have the middle dog here, which is very rare in this tournament so far. SilverPython going for that, having that villager forward and doing a decent job scouting. No forward scouting at all yet for Yaxia. I say this every time I cast this map, but I want people while they're going up to feudal age at the very latest to scout forward. How many dogs does the opponent have? That is absolutely essential info to determine how many dogs you're going to put up yourself and how you balance your eco. Yaxia, for a very early feudal age, he's playing this as though it was Arabia. 17 villager up. Oh, he's getting great shot there out of the town center actually. So gets good trade against SilverPython Scout. He's playing this as though it is Arabia. I expect full on land aggression here. So this is a very early kind of all-in strategy, because if this doesn't succeed, you're going to fall behind massively by virtue of fishing ship difference. Well, we'll see how well this turns out for the Franks. This is not ideal, right? This is what I do on this map because I'm not a water player. But I don't think this is ideal gameplay. If this doesn't net huge benefit, it is always gonna be a disadvantage that you place yourself at. Yaxia might think right here, honestly, the opponent isn't even on water just yet. Python is going to lead him there though, and alongside the villager is going to try and fight back against this scout. Ooh, that was crafty there actually. Yaxia not quite feudal age yet, so doesn't have the extra attack on the scout available yet. Has to back off there. Now he knows at least though that the enemy has fishing ships and where they are at. He's gonna go for his scout play here, presumably. He's got the wood, there he goes, double villager stable going up. He's actually just ignoring the water portion of this map. You will have seen this if you watched this stream before. This has been done quite a lot of times in a tournament, and really kind of just depends how much value you're able to generate out of your attack. I would be surprised if SilverPython doesn't see this coming though. He scouted forward, he saw 0 docks, and he saw the very early uptime for the Franks, so you have to know that he's playing for land. What's the answer going to be? I like the choice not to go for a second dock. You don't need it here. He's just staying on 2 fishing ships, which is exceptionally little, but it is fine. I think you don't want to overcommit for fish here. 3 or 4 is what I like to do, but maybe just 2 gets the job done as well. As both players are now in feudal age, Python is going for the walls up here. If the scouts are coming forward like this, all they're going to accomplish is stop the enemy from fishing. We see right there, he's bringing the scout, he's bringing the spearman, but he's not getting into the base. So he's going to be able to deny the fishing ship, which is a partial victory, right? That is the difference between Yaxia and SilverPython right now, is the fishing ship numbers. So being able to limit that is a good. Gotta make sure those town centers are still producing villagers though. Both players now sitting at a minute of idle TC time. The aggression taking its toll on both sides. This fishing ship here kinda seeking rescue in the middle, and fire ships now used as protection for them. They are pretty good against scout cavalry, but it really makes it tricky for the fishing ship to fish nonetheless, because they're just so easily picked off. Alright, are the scouts ever going to get in? We have spearmen coming out for Python. He's doing a good job here fighting, again, a very worthwhile trades against those scouts. This map is quite easily wallable, as I always tend to say. Many people have called it an open map, but I don't really see it. Those wood lines always really... So if you're walling with your town center, you're always kind of getting very narrow base, but with lots of resources in there. So I think this is viable for SilverPython, and he's been able to stay on water at least a little bit without having to invest a ton here. So I think the early game so far has gone better for the Sicilians, albeit him losing that one fishing ship. Franks trying to get in here with their scouts. I like Yaxia not over-investing into scouts. He just made 3. And, or maybe he made 4 actually, because I think he lost one of them to one of these spearmen. Whichever way it is, he's not making a ton of them because he knows it's going to be difficult getting in there. Oh, he's taking another hit from the spearmen though. You got to be careful there. You don't want to be taking these trades. It's kind of gonna be just a race to Castle Age at this point, though. I don't think there's a point in doing anything else than just getting up to Castle Age. This game state has died down to a stalemate. Neither is really able to arrest the opponent. All I want to see is, as this house has been misplaced, oh, this could have been such a nice wall. All I want to see is people trying to get up to Castle Age. I don't want to see military blacksmith upgrades at this point. I don't want to see eco upgrades either, to be honest. Just get up there to the next stage and go from there. And that seems to be what both players are doing. House wall behind the palisades there, you can see SilverPython was quite concerned about keeping the Franks out and did succeed. Gotta respect that threat. That's gonna be a lot of jobless townfolk here in a second. Oh boy, I don't want to be Secretary of Labor in this country. All these guys knocking at my office door, looking for jobs. Tough times in that economy. And that's the downside to gathering berries faster, right? I mean, your villagers are gonna get done faster and you're gonna have to give them new jobs. You're gonna take that though, it's still a pretty good bonus to have. And again, kind of all the difference between these two guys at this point is the fishing ship numbers for the Sicilians. They've got a little bit more idle TC time, so yeah, but that's nothing game deciding, to be honest, so probably not too worrying. Up to Castle Age is Yaxia. Python still lacking that second building. I don't think he realizes that. Oh, he does. He does. He put up the archery range. Interesting. Okay. Might have actually expected a stable here. Or even just a blacksmith. But either way, he needs to get up to the next stage. And that he's going to be able to do. Still, the Franks are going to be there a little bit quicker. So that is a partial victory for Yaxia. Let's see what he does with it. Stack and stable going up. This looks to be just very standard Frank play. Scout rush into castle. Age into double stable knights. Would be surprised if it wasn't that, because he's still not going underwater, so that's not going to be his focus. He's also not gathering any stone. Frank castles cost 480 stone, so quite cheap there, and castles are going to be required to take middle control or just take control of the water if you're ever looking to take that back. So that could be a good idea as well. Just send like 4 villagers on stone and start preparing for a castle soon. Although it seems like maybe he's just gonna try and pump out knights. I wonder how well that's gonna go though. If Python just goes for 1 extra TC and Yaxia doesn't, I think this could turn out horribly for the Franks if he's going full knight aggression, because his eco really isn't going to be that great, and he's already behind there due to the fishing ship lacking. Let's see how he plays it. Doesn't really have a lot on wood, so he's not going to be able to drop more castles, or more town centers rather. He's going into knights here. If just knights is really ambitious here for the Franks, because I don't see how they're getting into the opponent's eco. Oh, this is not good. Oh, you don't want to trade your knights like this. Oh, you don't. Okay, he's bringing the second one, so at least he's not going to lose the knight. I don't think that was a decent trade to take, though. You don't want to trade knights for fire ships. And all that does is tell the opponent that you're going for knights. Forging now even coming in for SilverPython. He's going for knights himself. That's exactly why I said I expected the stable earlier when he went for the archery range. I still wonder why he did that, probably just to have the option there, but I would have liked the stable. And he does exactly what I suggested. 2 town centers against the Frank. Well, probably he's going to go for a 3rd town center. I don't think that is necessary, but, well, of course he would only know that if he knew the opponent doesn't add any town centers. And he can't know that. So maybe he's just going to drop the 3rd one. Although he doesn't. So, hey, I fully approve of what he's doing right here. Gonna have to be careful now, just like in the last game. Weather the storm of that early Castle Age production from the opponent. And go from there, kind of, is the idea. Franks, lots of wood floating right now. So they really could be adding a few more town centers here. The issue is if they want to keep producing knights, they're really going to run into struggles with their food economy. No fishing ships, so Really vulnerable food eco. Gets that one conversion almost, but the delete comes in. Good awareness by Python in the end. And we see the TC for the Franks. Trying to, yeah, be erected in the middle. Interesting. That is exactly SilverPython kind of just confirming the game plan that I had laid out. If you know the opponent goes for early castle age aggression here, just add 1 TC and try to weather the storm. That's exactly what I would have suggested as well. And it's kind of similar to what happened in the last game, although it was triple TC in that circumstance. It's quite a few knights, but really, that's what I was saying earlier. The base is so compact, so difficult to break in, and there's so many resources in there. You can really weather the storm for quite some time there as the defender. The knights aren't probably going to get to raid a whole lot. Now the issue begins then when you're trying to get back out on the map, because eventually you're going to need to start pushing yourself. And you need to start re-establishing control, probably with some castles, get water control that way. That's where we've seen some people struggle. But so far, that's not going to be a worry. So far, he's got a pretty neatly set up base, and he's getting a nice eco lead off of that extra TC that he's had up and running. We like to see it. Knights, again, going to go forward, but not find a whole lot. I would like to see this wall eventually be extended over here. You're going to want to either add a third town center at some point. You want to add some farms and mills over here. Getting a stone wall here, I think, would go a long way to, yeah, also protect this weak palisade that you've got going on in the east right now. So stone walls there, probably good investment eventually. See groups of knights all across the map. Monks added behind those as well. Both players trying to go from there. And interesting game state. 10 extra villagers for SilverPython. Idle TC times quite comparable here between both players actually. And both players into knights and monks. So again, I think I like SilverPython's spot a bit better, although again, he doesn't have the map control, and maybe he's gonna run into issues as a result of that. Iron casting on the way now. He's gonna get those upgrades. I wonder why he's not getting the armor upgrades though. He's gonna try and get a castle down here soon. We see the villagers forward, we see the stone being collected. Oh, he's gonna lose the monks. What's going on here? Oh no, he wanted to convert the knights. Probably didn't realize he was chasing them. I think only lost one though, so it's not the end of the world. Tries to get this castle to go up though. And it is spotted by Yaxia, who's going to get another round of hits in on those monks. Gets a second monk kill with those scouts. So 2 scouts for 2 monks is a really good trade. Doing a much better job in microing here than he did in the first game. And maybe that's going to be his ticket back into this one. Double layer palisade. Okay, this guy, well, I guess he wasn't in a position to ever wall out here. I'm not sure how much this stops the flood from coming in though, the second layer of palisades, but I respect it. He knew he needed to do something about the security there. Wasn't ready to invest quite as much as I had suggested, but still, the effort was there. I respect it. And again, the third layer palisades now coming in behind this. The knights coming in to try and deal with it as well, but it's really iffy. You don't want to fight this. Actually, it's a great fight for the Franks. They have the extra HP on the knights, and they only have forging, but they have chain barding, whereas no armor upgrades at all yet for the Sicilians. They've got their castle over there in the west, so permitting them to mine some gold there is nice. You can also get the knight armor upgrade there in Imp, but for now it's going to be tricky, and this is not the fight you want to take if you're the Sicilians. Better back off there. He's got those spearmen still available, but nah, they're not going to do a whole lot. No armor upgrade on those, no pikeman upgrade in. It's going to be difficult. He's bringing the monks forward though. 3 conversions here, not enough to turn the tide, but at least going to make this trade a lot less worse. It's going to lose a lot here though. It's not going to be great for the Sicilians. They're up 20 eco for some reason, because Combi hasn't been producing villagers in ages here. quarter hour of idle TC time. But he's getting a great trade army-wise here. He's taken out all the monks once again. Still merely spearmen on the opponent's side. And tons of knights have gone down, mainly on the blue side as well. I like Python's game plan. I think the execution could be a tad better at some points. This engagement was not forced onto him by any means. And the walling situation on the east hasn't necessarily developed to his advantage either. Knight's gonna come knocking again, trying to still get up some monks. Oh, he's going imp here on 70 villagers. I'm not sure this is the time to go imp, but I think he really might need those resources on monks and knights to try and weather this push. I don't know why he's not going for pikemen. Do Sicilians just not get anything better than spearmen? Does the line just end there for them? I'm not sure. Oh, he's running into trouble here on the east though. If those knights get in, that could be devastating impact to the Sicilian eco. Chain barding makes those extremely tanky, and they've got the knight HP bonus there, or the cavalry HP bonus from the Franks. Oh, and they're about to break in here. Good house wall though. He recognizes this, able to keep the knights out, and Combi Yaxia goes on the retreat. He's broken in from the south though. This could be problematic very soon. The Ram doing a great job here, actually keeping or getting access for those knights to break in there. He's trying to break in. The villagers are blocking here. If he somehow manages to seal this, no way. The villagers are just blocking this forever. And it bought enough time for a castle to go up here. Man, that was elite unit collision usage by SilverPython. He's trying to house wall up here. I'm not sure how great this is going to go for him, because these houses start breaking real fast once those knights start hitting them. But they're taking quite a bit of damage from the castle. If he's somehow able to keep enough villagers alive, this could be fine if he gets all these knights to go down. But he's losing a lot of eco at this point. Arrives in Imp with about 70 villagers, and he's still losing more. This could be a turning point potentially, but Yaxia needs to find yet more damage to capitalize on this one and turn the game around. He's losing a lot of knights, but he's killed so much eco here. This was a victory of some sorts, but he can't stop here. The opponent is up to Imp, has 10 more villagers still, but he's got one less town center, so if only Axia had been able to keep those TCs producing, he might have a pretty good spot to work from right here. But he really invested everything into this push, which, to his credit, was able to finally do great damage. But that was, yeah, those were just here blocking the chokehold. This was literally like the 300 Greeks at, what was it, at Thermopylae? I'm not sure where exactly it was, but it was, they actually just saved the town. At Marathon, probably? I don't know. Antiquity is not my field of study. I'm more a medieval historian. Well, not a historian yet at all, but you get what I'm saying. Oh boy, that trap gonna go down though. That trap gonna go down. Yaxia fully relying on knights. And getting a little bit more booty on top of this, looks like. A few villagers and the trap again going down. Eco lead very small at this point for SilverPython, but he himself is going to go into heavy cavalry, it seems. Goes for the cavalry upgrade, and remember, he's got that unique tech. Let's see what the name of that was again. Hauberg. Okay. Interesting name. Not sure what it means. It's pretty good tech though. And if he's going to go into knights, that is going to be interesting. That's going to be probably... it's difficult to say how this compares to Frank Knights. Because you only get one melee armor, so knight to knight combat, it's not that massive, but... Well, I'll see what it does. Looking forward to being surprised by whose knights turn out to be more impactful. Really messy game so far though, and SilverPython still just cornered into his little base there, but probably more than comfortable with that, because he's still got a little bit more gold there. Let's see, how much gold is that in total? 3,000 gold, so that's going to sustain him for quite a while, with the Oh, the 1000, the 1100 gold here in the west as well underneath his castle. Good job from Yaxia though, repeatedly hitting the gold villages here in the west, diving in with lots of knights here. Actually able to pressure the castle now. No murder holes, as you can see, so these knights are running rampant there. Monks doing a good job pushing them back though. Very essential to have some sort of response at least for these knights. Could think about just adding a ram or two and pushing the castle with that. He's had control over this area for ages now. Maybe if Yaxia added a few rams, he could actually start pushing this castle, because this Knight Mass is no joke. I don't think there's redemption in for the Sicilians at this point. Gets a conversion finally. SilverPython does, but well, it's still a pretty impressive number of knights for Yaxia. He's diving in now. He's losing quite a few of knights here, but he's taking out the monks in return. I'm not sure that was the greatest trade for him, but he's able to inflict some casualties there. Okay, he's going deep though. Okay, I didn't expect that. I expected him to pull back. He's gonna lose a lot of knights here again. Let's see if this turns out being worth so many safe spaces for the villagers to retreat into. Oh boy, I'm not sure the knights are gonna get great returns on this dive. They're taking out the trebuchets, but the trebuchets weren't all that worrisome to begin with. Still 69 villagers there. Really, everything but nice for SilverPython. He's been on that number for like the last 10 minutes here. Ever since he hit Imp, he's not really been able to eclipse that by a lot. And the eco numbers are even at this point. It's really messy. Casual 29-0 eco KD, you say. Well, yeah, but I mean, that's just what it looks like when one guy's permanently pushing, the other guy's just trying to boom up and defend. Though at this point, boom isn't really there anymore. And Imp is on the way for the Franks as well, having thrown away their entire army now, so they're going to need to come with a backup plan now. Trebuchet starts chipping away at the TC in the middle, and those Cavalier being stacked for SilverPython now. He's still got a bit more gold to go before he needs the middle. It's 3,600 gold in total that he's got left in those piles. So that's quite a few Cavalier that he's able to add to try and push the middle. We'll see how that goes. Oh, the monks starting to try and convert here. Oh, we don't like to see this. Oh no. Oh no, that's gonna be some Sicilians dying. Actually, somehow this guy didn't get converted, but fair enough. Gotta be a bit more careful with your units. If you're trying to build up a Cavalier mass, you can't be throwing away your Cavalier like that. Good usage of the stone though. You really need to recapture this middle. You have 3,000 gold left, that's nice and all, but that's not going to carry you throughout the entire game. So you want to retake the middle, and using the stone resource that you have to try and accomplish that is a good idea. I wonder if this castle is going to go up though, because that's lots of knights for the Franks that are still skirmishing with those Cavalier. And it looks like the Franks are going to work away the victors from this one. This lady, meanwhile, just picking the fruit from her fields. Excuse me, gentlemen. How am I supposed to farm here? Yeah, okay. I mean, this is like top 10 worst work environments of all time. She thought he was getting a nice little view on the beach at a new workplace, working a chill farm, no competitors anywhere nearby. This was the business dream of this young lady. She couldn't picture this massive castle and the armored knights running and trampling across her face. Well, this is some free real estate at this point, and Python has taken control of the middle. Whew! These knights are painful though. It's the same story the entire game. Python in a pretty fine spot, having pretty neatly set up base, but the knight numbers from Yaxia time and time again slashing in and taking out everything that Python has built up. So it's going to be a grind to try and push this one forward. It feels like Python has the tools to do it though, right? I mean, still has enough gold to build up decent amount of trebs, monks, Cavalier, whatever he wants really. And he's got the castles in position where he needs them, so he should be able to get on this gold sooner or later. tries to get another castle forward. I wonder how this one went up. It looked like there were enough cavalier to stop it from happening. And this third one surely going to be difficult to get to go up as well. Let's see what Yaxia sees right here, though. Oh, he's again going a bit too deep for my liking. He's going to lose another few cavalier there. Does have really good upgrades on his, though. The armor is especially much better than SilverPython's right now. But I'm not sure he's got the cavaliers left to deny this castle at this point. I think he threw away a few too many there. Not realizing that a castle was going to be dropped again. And now he can't stop this one. He's trying to put down a castle in the middle himself now to potentially produce a few trebuchets from. I'm not sure I like the position though. Oh, he's gonna lose it, isn't he? Oh, is he gonna lose this one? Oh, no way, don't tell me he's gonna lose it. Okay, he's sending more villagers, so probably going to get this one to go up, but it's gonna be bloody and he's losing quite a lot. Oh, trebuchet starts chipping away at it as well now. 3 castles there from Python. It feels like Sicilians are about to have firm control over this middle here. Oh no, I don't think it's gonna end well for the Franks. It's not the castle location he wanted, and this one isn't even gonna go up. Oh, if Python can establish middle control here and hold it, he's going to win the game off of it, I'm telling you guys. No eco difference to speak of. And such a great position for the Sicilians to be in. Castle goes up and goes down. He's trying to repair it frantically here, but that's not gonna do anything. Oh, it was a cheap castle. Maybe thus the fragile quality. We've all been there. This is the IKEA level castle, really. And down goes it. Cavalry in, and now it's SilverPython's turn at raiding the opponent's eco. There's not enough space in this TC for all of us. Well, they were left behind, and they're gonna get cut down to the last man. And that's a GG from Yaxia. Man, Python, kind of, we've seen the same game play out twice here. Not exactly, but, well, almost. So the first game, Feudal Age went way better for Python. He got up to a way bigger lead in Castle Age, and Yaxia was really forced to push there, and wasn't able to make enough of a dent. In this one, it was kind of by choice there. Yaxia had the better position going into Castle Age. He was able to deny the naval from Python, and he could have chosen to do whatever he wants. He could have dictated the pace of the game. He could have gone for a triple TC boom himself, gone back on water. He was up to Castle Age first, decided to go for the 1 TC all in, or not all in, 1 TC double stable knight opening in Castle Age. Python read it correctly, did exactly what I said the ideal response would be, and that was add 1 more TC and just hold. And that served him well. It looked really rough at the beginning of Imp when the Cavalier finally got in. Other than that, pretty good game for him again. And same story once more. Yaxia not able to close the deal, struggling there to punish the defensive playstyle out of SilverPython. And let's head back to the draft where Siri is standing at 2-0. SilverPython at match point to take the finals victory here and win the massive cash prize of this bracket. All he's gonna have to do is win 1 of the next 3 games to do that. Yaxia needs to win all 3, beginning with the next one on his home map, on his remaining home map, which should be Islands, should it not? We have an Islands game here, let's see then. Looking like that's going to be the next one then. So, SilverPython up 2-0 in the finals. Trying to claim victory in Pick Your Poison. And we're going to see Hindustanis against Malians on Islands. Yaxia's last remaining home map needs the victory here to start a reverse sweep for the title of Group H champion in this tournament. Let's see if he can do it. Game 3 on the way. Hindustanis against Malians on islands. And the pressure couldn't be higher here on the Axia to stay alive. SilverPython with the first of 3 match balls to close this one out. Trying to do it with Malians on islands. Now Malians, of course, big winner of the April patch overhaul. Great civilization right now. Not sure how great they are on islands specifically, but they are very much in fashion. And the exact opposite is to be said for the Hindustanis. They were great before the patch, haven't performed as good afterwards, and are thus kind of out of fashion recently. But again, I'm not sure how any of this applies to islands. That's not my kind of native map, so to speak. I'm sure you couldn't tell by watching my tournament games, but just in case, I just told you. And either way, we're gonna get the first look at a match ball here to decide the finals. Let's see what the civilizations have in store for us. Here on the left side, it is the Hindustanis for Yaxia. And, well, not the typical island civ, certainly. So I can see why they would be chosen here from his opponent. Remember, in case you haven't watched too much of this tournament before, the opponent gets to decide which of your civilizations you have to use on which map. So thus we get kind of unorthodox matchups here, oftentimes. And it's the Hindustanis for Yaxia. What do they have? Well, they have cheaper villagers throughout the game. They've got really good camels. That's kind of their hallmark unit. And, well, they've got annoying gunpowder stuff as well that, well, I'm not the greatest fan of. Let's just say that. Camels are the alpha and the omega of that civ, though. It's really what you end up seeing them opt into sooner or later every game, and quite intimidating. Behind that, though, again, the gunpowder, that is pretty potent there. For the Hindustanis, we see several bonuses affecting that as well. So, what are they up against then? SilverPython adding info here for the islands map, saying neither civ get galleons. Malians are better suited to islands though. Okay, let's see what the Malians have then. Malians, we know what made them really skyrocket in popularity and win rate was that gold bonus that they got changed here, and now dropping off extra gold, kind of a very surprisingly effective bonus, right? Because you get the gold faster than you would usually get it, but it also remains on the map for the same amount of time, so you kind of just get more gold and you get it faster than the average civ. Great bonus to have. You get the extra pierce armor on your infantry, which is great. You don't get gambesons, but I mean, come on, you get so tanky. So if the opponent tries to do any type of archer units against your infantry, that's not going to end too well for them. And then that's kind of already it. They have these 3 pretty powerful bonuses. Oh yeah, wood reduction. The wood cost reduction on all buildings. That's going to be great for islands maps. Remember when we talk about Japanese having the half cost eco buildings, for example, or Huns not needing to build any houses. That stuff can be fine bonuses on islands. This is kind of the same thing, right? Cheaper wood cost, less wood that you're going to have to spend on everything, on every building at least, meaning, maybe a bit smoother there getting out on the water. So maybe one reason for why the Malians might be the favored civ on islands here, in SilverPython's opinion. Let's see how it actually ends up playing out. Though, we're just 7.5 minutes in here. We've got kind of very even game state, although half a minute idle TC time here for Yaxia, maybe. Nerfs starting to affect them. I mean, you gotta be mindful of. This is the number 9 seed. If I'm not completely mistaken, he just in the semifinals took out the number 1 seed in the bracket in a big upset there, I believe. So he's no stranger to being up against massive odds, but the opponent has kind of justified his favorite role in this one so far. So it's gonna be tough coming back from this one. And with half a minute of idle TC time, maybe that's the nerves showing here a little bit. Goes for the second dock on the way to feudal age, which is standard play. Forward docks here for both players. And SilverPython, who is going to hit feudal age about a minute earlier actually. Doesn't have that second dock just yet, unless I missed it. No, it wouldn't appear so. And he's going to... Did he actually see the opponent's island there? That would be funny. No, okay, he doesn't have that. Oh yeah, he's still in Dark Age. Okay, still has the Dark Age Scout. I was gonna say, this is really close island setup though, so you might even be able to spot the opponent's one. Looking on over. Alright, second dock going up for SilverPython. A bit late, but he's still going to have it up. There we go. Before the opponent arrives to feudal age. Galley production right out of the way for Python. That is unusual. He just said he doesn't get galleons, and he's made forward docks. I was told that if you want to stack galleons off the get-go, you oftentimes prefer back docks, because that actually, yeah, allows you more time to stack up and protects your fish a little bit better too. Nonetheless, we've got fires against galleys opening for the Malians, and both players... Actually, a triple dock from the Hindustanis, never mind that. Extra dock for Yaxia. If he's able to balance that eco, that might be a way to open up an advantage here on the water. He's going to need to make sure though he's got enough on food, enough on wood, and enough on gold. Really, you want 6 on food to sustain villager production, but then again you need a few more to maybe pick up fletching. And you want, of course, to be able to always add houses and ships, so eco balance can be a bit tough here. So far he's producing out of 3 docks. Interesting decision here actually, going into 3 fires and then going into galleys right after. Now trying to take out the first couple of fishing ships. He's spotted SilverPython's fleet. And interesting choices from both players here, as Python is trying to wrap around with his galleys, knowing that he can't fight the fire ships in these numbers. And instead going to try and pick off the opponent's fishing ships, if I had to make a guess. He's gone forward. He doesn't know anything about the opponent's island just yet, but he's going to find out soon. Trying to see what he can find. And he finds galleys now. That's kind of the best case. Or Python really fortunate the opponent switched into galleys at this point, because more fire ships could have been trouble. If this had been 2 fire ships instead of 3 galleys, the Python could have been in huge trouble here. Instead, he's going to get to harass the opponent's fish quite a bit, though. Fletching in already for the blue player, not so for the red. So, trades are a bit tricky here. And again, I wonder why we're going for 50-50 fires and galleys. Either way, SilverPython actually the one that's able to keep his docks working a little bit better, apparently. Ship production running a bit more smoothly on over there. And same thing is true for the villagers. So, I would say it's been going pretty okay for the Malians. Didn't get overwhelmed early when he was still building up his galleys. He still doesn't have a massive stack of them, but the numbers are pretty good, so he can definitely take fights at this point. And he's been able to take that 1 fishing ship while losing just 2 of his own. So, we're pretty even in that regard as well. Let's see how this goes. Man, we're in a pretty close game here, but the stakes are massive and quite different for both these players. Pressure is high on the Western guy here. What can he do to try and come back in this series? So far, he's just lost another ship, though. Actually, oh yeah, I was gonna say, is he trying to put up a 4th dock? No, she's just got the repair villager over here. Good choice. Can swing naval battles oftentimes, but SilverPython isn't overcommitting into this, and he's got the bigger galley stack. He's got fletching. Yaxia has it as well now, though, so that's pretty good. Good salvo again, hitting those fire ships. As soon as they're able to close the gap, though, you're gonna have to back off as the Malians. You don't want to get burned through. However, we're kind of approaching this critical galley mass where he kind of can just 2-shot the fire galleys. That's gonna make it very difficult for Yaxia to maneuver those. Not the easiest fight to play here, really, for both parties. Galley Micro is quite demanding. You gotta have the eco running as well at the same time, though. 0 on gold now for Python. Oh no, never mind. He probably just made a house there. I think he got housed and used the gold mining villages for that. So I was gonna say, is he transitioning to some crazy play or whatever? No. Interesting trades. Looks like that was a demo coming in, but didn't do all that massive damage, because at this point there's lots of galleys here for Python, which are, well, just not able to be engaged into at this point for the Hindustanis. They're building up more galleys themselves, and they are on 4 docks now, actually, so maybe able to get those numbers up high enough to be able to contest for this one again. Currently, though, outnumbered about by 1.5 times. So it's difficult taking these battles right now. He's still going to try, though. I think this could be a terrible trade, actually, for Yaxia. He's trying to micro a bit here, but it doesn't look like he's going to go all that well. Let's see how the numbers stack up. Oh, it's still kind of the same ratio of units, but I don't think this is good for the Hindustanis, as they're now forced to run here. Takes out a few on the back end of this, but loses the fish as well. Alright, rough trades here, rough trades, really. Eco balance is fine for both players, but really looks like Python is approaching here the point where he could click up to Castle Age if he chose. And with the naval situation being quite stable for him as well, maybe he's going to be able to get away with an earlier castle here, actually. We'll see, though, because for now he's still heavily committed onto ships. He's looking like he's going to click up, though, in a second. Look at this. Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. He's still got so many galleys queued up. I think he's not even going to lose water control on the way up to Castle Age. Oh, this is a rough spot for Yaxia. He's got so much gold, but he doesn't even have the second building yet to go up to Castle Age. He's going to be way behind here, and this could be difficult to come back from. It looks like Python actually sold his stone to go up to Castle Age here. Okay, that is big investment. All of his stone as well, right? I mean, I think he could have gotten away with just selling 100 and then maybe cancelling 1 or 2 galleys from the queue, which he still had a ton of them in there anyways. So I don't like that. I don't like selling all your stone. Don't think that was necessary either. But he's continuing to trade quite fine here on the water. And his galleys, man, they're doing some work here. The 3 HP one leading the charge. Oh, okay. Well, maybe shouldn't have led the charge then. But he's going to be up to castle in about a minute. And he's down villager numbers at this point, because of course he's been researching that uptime. But he's going to get off to a decent boom here again, I feel like. I mean, he's sold all his stone, so it's not like he can just add TCs off the get-go. But the opponent is not even clicked up just yet. He still doesn't have that second building. Oh, I'm not sure I like this game state for the Hindustanis. They've almost 10 villagers up, but this really looks fake numbers here, to be honest. I'd much rather be up to Castle Age already with a decent eco running and a good amount of galleys in the field. SilverPython saying in chat he's added enough TCs in the previous games, he doesn't need any more. Yeah, no, I definitely think just selling 100 stone would have been enough. You could have gotten away with selling no stone if you cancelled most of the galleys you had in queue, but I understand why you didn't want to do that. Still, I think the happy medium there would have been the best choice. Either way, War Galley is in. Look at that fleet, just got a lot more intimidating, and thus probably a good idea for Yaxia to kind of pull back from the engagement and go up to Castle Age as well. He's going to be 2.5 minutes away from it, though. Ooh, how is Python going to play this, though? He can't add more town centers, and he's not moving to stone just yet either, so he doesn't seem to be concerned with that. Now, Yaxia has to expect that town centers are being added, so maybe Python can use this to formulate a deadly push here, because the opponent surely has to be expecting him to go for town centers at this point. War galleys are forward, while galleys still wrapping around for Yaxia. He's going to get the fish, but he's going to lose some stuff at home. How fast are those docks actually going down? It turns out they're going down quite fast here. That's going to be those galleys that were made as reinforcements. Starting to be taken out too. Oh, he's really losing a lot of ground. He is losing all that water control that he skirmished so valiantly for. The Castle Age transition was just so much smoother for Python, who again isn't adding town centers, but Yaxia doesn't know that, and he's got to be panicking at this point. Botkin is in, the War Galley upgrades in. This navy is virtually untouchable. You'd need a castle to come back onto water at this point for Yaxia, I feel. And he's ages away from that. Oh man. His back's against the wall. He needs to win this one. He doesn't have any second chances after this, so really, he's got to find the optimal moves now, otherwise that's going to be it for him in this tournament. I mean, he's made it all the way to the finals, but nothing more disappointing than to lose on the doorstep of winning it all, right? Just hasn't looked in this series so far that he has found the answers needed on the day to overcome SilverPython. And there's no do-overs anymore, so he's gotta start finding them now. Otherwise, we'll see him in the next tournament. Look at this stacked 1A4 war galleys and counting. Still some fish there working for SilverPython. Unbothered here at home, and looks like still, yeah, no TCs. He's fine, man. He might just go for imp at this point. I mean, putting up the university there. I'm not sure what he's doing. He's trading in the middle, but he's got more war galleys around, so this is a winning trade if he just micros it properly. Even has the fire ship here in the front doing immense work. Wow, I didn't even see he added those in. But that was quite difficult for Yaxia to handle, and he's losing again a ton of war galleys here. Hindustani is really struggling to stay in this game. He's managed to put up another few docks in the north though, so he's able to at least hold that naval base and build up a few more units for now. He's still got pretty decent economy for pumping out ships, but he's not able to get any more town centers up himself either, and he loses a lot of ships here. Oh, he's gotten a bit impatient there. He's gotten the docks up in the north, and he has the eco running, so why run in there while you're at a numbers disadvantage still? On the way to imp as SilverPython, as I actually predicted it, funnily enough. Wonder where he's gonna go from there, but probably just gonna intimidate the opponent a lot with that. The psychological impact of that is gonna be way greater than any physical impact he can make once he gets there. He's getting all the damage done on the water right now though. Yaxi has absolutely fallen apart there. He's losing the entire map control. Still doesn't have many more town centers up. He really... oh man. I think that's the last play he has, is going into booming. And he's queuing up yet more ships here in the north. Or in the back, I'm not sure where he's queuing them. Looks like it's actually in the back, yeah. Well, not sure that's gonna be the way for him. This is good value at least, but that's not gonna do it. Oh boy, he's got the demo ships now on the way, alright. Maybe he's gonna need a few miracle shots to turn it around. Half a minute away from imp is SilverPython though. That could be big. Yaxia's reaction to that. Is he gonna sell all his stuff and get up to imp as well, or what's gonna be the reaction there? Still has barely been able to make a dent in the opponent's fleet there. Not even half of that has been taken out, I don't think. And there we go. Imp in for the Malians. And we just see the GG. Alright. I mean, okay, that... I didn't expect that strong a reaction out of Yaxia. The game set wasn't as horrible as he made it out to be, but again, that's what I was saying. He didn't expect the opponent to have added no town centers in Castle Age. Probably thought he was pretty far behind, and he was far behind. But still. Maybe a bit early GG, but really difficult to tell. And he just hadn't found the answers previously on this day, so I can relate there. I can see why you might just call it at this point. Man, what a great tournament here in Bracket H as well. Yaxia in a great run. He has the number 9 seed getting to the finals. But in the end, it's a 3-0 in favor of SilverPython, who takes the win of the entire bracket here. So congrats there. He gets the prize. Also gets the bragging rights, more importantly. I hope it was a fun tournament for everybody in Bracket H. I know I certainly enjoyed it. It was a pretty good bracket to cast. It's kind of the sweet spot here between the good players and us bad players. In there, I can still relate to the gameplay in most parts, but they do generally make more of the right decisions than the players on my level do. So it has been cool to watch these guys for sure. Victory goes to SilverPython though as the number 2 seed. Well, that's the number I was as well. And I didn't go as far, so can certainly respect that. GG's to everybody in this bracket. I've cast a lot of games from this bracket, so if you're a player from Bracket H, you can check out the YouTube channel. I've got a playlist, PYP WODs, and you'll find some casts from your games as well there, possibly. So make sure to check that out if you want. Yaxia said he got a lot of lag during this game, but he played like a beast. First 2 games were very tough, exactly. It is very much underrated how difficult those games are for the defender. It looks cool when you can just hold off the enemy attack, out boom, and then just roll them, but it's so difficult because any slip up where the opponent gets into your eco, it ruins your entire game. So it is difficult there. Python definitely played that very disciplined, and yeah, was in some tough spots in both those first 2 games, but of course deserving win in the end. That was a great tournament here from our Bracket H guys. I'll be casting more of these semifinals and finals from other brackets if they upload their WODs, but until then, yeah, congrats again to SilverPython for winning that bracket. Entertaining series, definitely. Sadly, it was a 3-0, but yeah, still good games, and was a pleasure covering it. Thanks for coming out as well in the chat, and I'll see you guys next couple of days, probably.